is, however you determine what your success is. Okay, doesn't mean you have to be the owner of a huge CEO company. It means you could be the CEO of your own house, of anything you want to do or overcome, or any of the adversities. So sit back, strap in, and crank it up, because this is your 5-minute guide to transforming your mind for success by me. Okay, so are you ready to transform your mindset and change the way you go after goals? God knows I am after this last year. Because the way that you react, or how about just this? How about the way you react under pressure and the way you feel when you're relaxing? Make change in your life. Just making change in your life all starts within the very first thing you need to do is change your mindset. So that's the first thing that we need to do if you want change in anything. If it's going to the gym, if it's changing your routine in the morning, if it's setting that goal, you have to change that mindset. And it gets really deep. And when I go into my seminars and I go on the road, I talk about being I'm a visionary. And I go into little ways of how you can do that and what has worked with me. But that's down the road. But anyway, so making change in your life just starts within the very first thing that you need to do. And that is to change your mindset. So once you can do that, everything else will follow. However, now we're all different. We can't just say, okay, my mind is going to be set and I'm done. I'm good. Well, no. Some of you have to keep a journal. Some of you have to do it the old way and write it down. Some of you can keep it on your laptop. Whatever which way you need to do and follow up with your mindset change, make sure you do that. So maybe there's a step 1 and a step 2. Okay? And guess what? It's easier than you think. Just like anything else, your mindset can be changed with exercise. And you can get better at controlling it with practicing and training, though. So with the right understanding and the right willpower, you can eventually take total control of your emotions, your reactions, and your stress. We can control everything and anything. However, it's very hard when we are broke, or we're going through some health issues, or we work hundreds of hours a week, or. But you got to find that little time and that domain place of yours to be able to do that. So let's take a look then at how you can transform your mindset and start getting more of what you want out of life. Okay? So we're all afraid. And the first thing to recognize is that your perception and focus are what really matter in life. So there's no concrete reality other than the one inside your head. And that is to say that your happiness and your sense of accomplishment has little to do with what goes on outside of your body and everything to do with the way you internalize that. Think about that. Okay? And the way we perceive and focus on the world around us is all to do with our evolution. We are naturally inclined to have anxious, frightened, knee-jerking reactions and to assume the worst in a lot of cases. It's even thanks to evolution that we can find ourselves frozen with fear or stress. It's called fight, flight, or freeze response, to use its full name. So how many times have you heard just like fight or flight? Right? That's all I've basically done my whole life. That is my initial attack, is fight or flight. because that's all I knew how to do, especially in my business. It was horrible. But the full name of it is fight, flight, or freeze. So why are we wired this way? Simple. When we're evolving out on the plains, we would have been on the constant lookout for predators. Let's just say way back when. Let's just say we were out on the African plains of way out. And we would have been on the constant outlook for predators and making the best decisions we could to avoid them. If there was an ambiguous threat, then we would assume the worst and run away, because ultimately that allowed us to survive better and pass on our genes. In today's world, though, we are not in a constant peril. In fact, most stress is low level and chronic kind. We don't have as many moments where our heart starts pounding because we are faced with potential sudden death, but instead we have lots of prolonged periods of debt or of angry bosses, and it just goes on. So this keeps our body constantly physiologically aroused and means we are much more likely to suffer heart problems or to find it difficult getting to sleep. Now, that's my thing. My mind, I still focus and try to, work on going to sleep, trying to pick a right time. And make sure I get some, good sleep. And that is my key. I mean, I've really, really, just screwed off this whole last year. And just my sleep deprivation was like, whew, hello. It was crazy. I just didn't know if I was coming or going, and you just walked around in your pajamas for days maybe, and you're a zombie. It was crazy. But, I mean, just constantly to physiologically just, I don't know. I found to be more anxious during all of this. And I get triggered by certain things now, and I feel my anxiety just kind of is creeping up on me a little bit. I don't take medication or anything. I work with it myself, and I do very well. I have a very strong personality, so I'm able to do that, but everybody's different. Anyway, okay, well, so I'll go on. So we are risk averse and pessimistic because it helped us survive this long. But now the world is safe, and all that fear and pessimism is doing is making you far less effective at getting what you want in life. When I say the world is safe, I mean we're still very lucky. There are things happening in this world that are very questionable. There are things that are we're going through a damn pandemic. But we are still making what we can and the best out of it. Things are questionable. But we are strong. We are humans. We are individuals. We are creative. We look through. We try to make things work. I do not give up. I'm a person that does not give up. And if I have this innate ability to be able to do what I do with my strength and my power of being positive, then this is the correct profession that I chose to do, and that is to empower everybody else. This is what I love to do. I can kick your ass, and I don't even have to be in the same room. I like that. It should be a t-shirt, right? Oh, my goodness. Okay, so it's your focus and perception that matters. But like I said, it's your focus and perception that really matters. And this is the key to preventing yourself from panicking or from freezing up. It's also the key to being far more driven and productive and to getting what you want from life more often. Because let's imagine that ambiguous threat was the silhouette of what appeared to be a lion on the horizon. You can't tell if it's a lion, but being risk averse and naturally pessimistic, you, in all likelihood, will assume it's a lion. As such, your body will release, it will, excitatory neurotransmitters and hormones, including the likes of cortisol, adrenaline, and the norepinephrine. See if I can pronounce that. Norepinephrine. Norepinephrine. I always have trouble saying that. Norepinephrine. This will increase your heart rate, cause you to think scared thoughts, trigger tunnel vision, and contract your muscles, constrict your blood vessels, thicken blood viscosity, and oh my gosh, and more. It's crazy that we have this much control of our body. How we can go from happy to sad in just seconds, and then what we can do to our body and what it secretes and what it causes. Just think of those emotions. We can't see them, but we sure can feel them. And it is a bad drug to be putting ourselves through that, because it has an effect on what? Our heart. And it's a disease. It becomes a disease. And if you see the silhouette more clearly and realize it is definitely a lion, then that response is only going to increase further. So, lions, not sheep, correct? Lions, not sheep. Amen. Amen to that. I see a lot of people out there preaching that. Lions, not sheep. And it's been an old saying for years. And it's a true one. Are you a lion or are you sheep? But now let's imagine that you are someone who is a little more positive and optimistic. Let's imagine that you take the assumption that this is not a lion. Okay? It's a harmless house cat. If you really believe this, then regardless of whether it's true or not, you will respond differently and remain calm. You've reinterpreted the situation, and your happiness and physiology at this point is thus entirely tied to your perception. So you can either look at it like it's a big lion and you're scared shitless, or you realize that it's just a damn cat. But then again, what I was saying is you can be a lion or sheep. Totally two different things. Didn't mean to twist it there. So we're going to turn lions into cats. And the problem is that your body also thinks of your angry boss in the same way it thinks of a lion. Okay, so let's say you got scared shitless and you saw the lion. And it thinks the same way about speaking in public. Okay? In other words, your brain is seeing lions everywhere. Your job is to reinterpret those lines where necessary and to see them for the little kittens that they really are. Okay? You can do this using a technique called thought challenging. And this simply means that you are looking at the different thoughts you have when you are feeling stressed. And then you are trying to deconstruct those thoughts. This is what I mean. Okay. So we're going to do thought challenging. All right. And then, okay, hold on. So see, thought challenging. So you can do this using a technique called thought challenging. This simply means that you're looking at the different thoughts you have when you are feeling stressed. And then you are trying to deconstruct those thoughts and prove to yourself that they are unfounded and not helpful. Of course, you need to then really believe this is to be the case for it to work through. So, for example, let's take that example of public speaking.